As every ship desires to arrive at a safe harbor, so does Chelsea create a safe harbor and space to share, heal, be inspired, and rebirth. Get prepared for a 15 minutes of thought-provoking, no-holds-barred conversations from real-life issues, sexual and gender-based violence, and everything in between. This is not your regular podcast. This is a masterpiece.
Welcome to today's episode of The Harbor. I've seen the way she handles GBV cases and the way she approaches them, and I actually like what she does. So she runs a human rights show, The Restrained, and that was where I met her. She has been running the show for 2 years, and that's a lot. So she has been meeting survivors, having psychologists, therapists, different people on her show, and that's why I feel she's going to be the best person to talk about this. So please, could you introduce yourself?
Thank you so much, Chelsea. It's good to be here on The Harbor. My name is Precious Anyeze. I run a gender-based violence show for more than 2 years now. I have always been passionate about family. I've always been passionate about people. But relating with people, you get to find out that there's a lot going on with the person, issues they're struggling with. And if you talk about it, if you have a one-on-one conversation, you will find out that most of the cases is linked to a trauma, physical abuse, sexual abuse for some, if not most of the cases of people, why they act the way they do. If you talk to them, you find out many of them don't know, or many of us don't know, that the reason why we act the way we do, or the things why we say, I don't do this, or I don't do that, it's a product of what we've experienced, and somehow we've raised defenses, or our lives have been channeled towards that direction. So, I took over the show from someone, but I was foreshadowing the show for a while. But I love talking about these issues and providing solution. The beautiful thing is that radio gives a wide range of coverage where people who are really, I won't even just say survivors, I would say even victims at the moment, are still locked in that place and don't know what to do about it. They're dealing with it. They have not found help or scared to get help. Just to dive in, this morning, someone reached out to me, a guy who is 18 years of age, and his uncle, who he lives with, have sex with him constantly. I was woken up early in the morning. I didn't know what to do. I kept talking. What do you want to do? What do you want to do to get help? But he said he's scared. And when his uncle caught him doing something, the uncle beat him, and in his word, in quote, he said, had sex with him. And I reached out to the government to do something, but then he said he's scared. He doesn't want to get into trouble. So these are the situations that we see every single time, and that's to tell you that the world needs help. We need help. A lot of us are going through trauma, and that's why I love what you're doing. Talking about these things, preferring hope, and addressing these issues for a lot of persons who really don't know that they're dealing with trauma, or the abuse which they think is okay, is in the past, needs to be resolved.
So, like you said, a lot of people don't know what gender-based violence is. There's a video that was trending of a girl that you could see that she was battered, eyes swollen and all that. And then when they asked her what happened,
my
she was
king.
like, you saw it. I got it.
I'm like, what? That is my king.
Her. He just wanted to correct her.
He just touched me small. Just wanted to... It felt
swollen eyes.
Do you know, funny enough, a lot of people were joking about it. In fact, when I found out about it, when someone kept saying my king, and I didn't understand the joke until he showed me the video. But it's a cry for help.
It's easy cry for, and a lot of people don't know what GBV is. They don't know that GBV, it's not just about physical abuse. There's a lot that entails in GBV.
Chelsea, to tell you, for a lady to say that, it's that video, what I saw, it's a layer of another problem. For a girl, for a lady at all that she is, to not to see a problem what he did, it shows that she is also dealing with another form of trauma where she doesn't have a sense of self, or she has been abused constantly that she doesn't even see it as a problem. For her to say, no, it's my fault. He just wanted to touch me small. That is my king. It's just a revelation of how deep this has been ingrained in our society and how we need to fight it.
So what would you define GBV as?
Gender-based violence. First off, a lot of times we confuse gender-based violence to be just the girl child, just the women. Gender is man and woman, the boy and girl, at least to the best of our knowledge and the right thing. And I just want to leave it in that. I know a lot of people have expanded what gender is, but this is what gender is, the boy and the girl. So gender-based violence is an abuse, violence meted to any of these genders, whether it's a boy or a girl. Sadly, that we concentrate on the abuse of girls.
I think because people feel girls are the most vulnerable.
Children are vulnerable.
Children are, yeah.
Children are vulnerable, the boy and the girl. If we keep concentrating on the girl child, we neglect the boy child. And I don't know if you had a conversation with your male friends, most of them, and with conversations on gender-based violence more now, most of them have been abused when they were children.
Yeah.
So gender-based violence, physical abuse, boys have been abused. So yes, women are more vocal about their experience. They talk about it more. They are more expressive. But the fact that they're expressive doesn't mean that the boy child and the men are not going through a lot.
True.
Have you seen our sisters who are thorns, who are tigers? In fact, I've seen one. I said, God, so somebody will marry you like this. You know, these are issues. We are also problems. It's not just the men who are the abusers. Women are also the abusers. And if we start attacking the problem, not in priority, but attacking the problem as it is, we'll reduce the problem that we're facing.
True.
Yeah.
So you spoke about someone responding, like the way that girl responded was because of her trauma.
Yeah.
So how do you think an upbringing is like the major influence in how we respond to a GBV situation?
Yeah. And we're a product of the formative seasons of our life. We're a product of the family we grew up in, no matter how much we want to say it. Thank God for God, some of us get to carve new path for ourselves, but somehow we get to still drag our identity. So if I would say for a fact that upbringing is a very, very important tool for a child who was raised in a family that didn't deliberately bring that child up to know the self in love and saying that you are precious, you're beautiful, you're loving, and validate every single good thing that they do and correct them in love. Vice the child who is raised by an abusive father, a neglective mother, or had been exposed to various vices, it changes the entire mix. A child who saw his father beating his mother will either turn out to be an abuser or someone who would... practical example, someone who said that he doesn't want to get married because he doesn't want any woman to go through what his mother went through. So he's not even safe because he's avoiding marriage, which is beautiful. He's avoiding relationship, which is beautiful, because because he's afraid of becoming who his father was. Another instance, a lady who got into or was raised with a father or a mother who was very abusive, or a father who was very abusive, she grew up hating, men, being insecure in her relationship. She's very defensive. She's very dominative. She doesn't want to be under. She doesn't want to be that weak person that her mother was, seeing her mother being dominated, beaten. And she said, no, my mother is a fool. She allowed my father do that to her, so I'm never going to allow him to treat me that way. So even if she's in an innocent relationship with a guy that loves her so much, she's already guarded up. So these are traumas. If you talk to her, she may not... If you're having a conversation with her, she may not know that that's the reason why she's all uptight and hard. She's just thinking she's just better. She's better informed. The world is evil. Men has come. That would be her narrative. I don't like women treat women as trash. She may but she may, if she has good therapy, she will find out that is because of what she watched her mother go through, and she promised herself, maybe not out loud, she will never be like her mother. She will never let any man treat her that way. So it's very important. Parents need a lot of work on themselves. That's why I don't believe, and I don't think, not because you're ready to get married, you just say you want to get married, you have not worked on yourself. Or persons who just gets into a relationship or marriage without deliberately checking the person. So, and that is why when we talk about divorce and separation, I'm not a fan of divorce, I'm not a fan of separation. But when it comes to abuse, I would advise, not because you want to protect the man from the woman or protect the woman from the man, but even in that child being in that environment of toxicity, it's a reason to just stay away.
True. So from all the forms of GBV, most people don't see emotional abuse or sexual objectification as a form of GBV. And even marital rape as well, because people just feel like, oh, you are married, So
you have the right to your body.
Exactly. Yeah. So why are these not really perceived as gender-based violence?
Emotional abuse is an abuse that a lot of times, especially in this part of the world, in Nigeria, like emotional psychological abuse, we don't pay attention to it because we feel it's an American disease, like depression and all that. But emotional abuse is one of the toughest because you don't see it. There's not an infliction. There's not something you go to the hospital and test and say there was a forceful penetration or something like that. But these are the things that kills a person's sense of self. It drives the person crazy. It makes a person depressed. It drives the person to even take his own life. For my work with on gender-based violence, I've met several people, even older people. A woman who had kids who are way older than me came to see me and saying that she is tired of her marriage. Her husband frustrates her. She was depressed. She had to leave the marriage and stay away for a while. And she said she didn't just want to die. Imagine the person saying he was not beating her, but she could tell that she's losing her mind. And I also believe that it's not something you wait to see in marriage. Even in relationship, you get to tell that this is an emotionally abusive person. I met one recently, and it was flabbergasting to see how glaring the signs are. You know, when we talk about when you meet a person who is physically abusive, the signs are glaring. When he wants to raise you, his hands on you, and he's like, you can't abuse me in the future, and you get guarded up. You can also see these signs, especially when you have a good sense of self. And the problem is that a lot of us don't have a good sense of self, or we are blinded by love. A person who talks down on you, practical example, someone called on the show saying her husband is emotionally and psychologically abusing her, even down to correcting her English. That when she say, rain is falling, and he said, shut up, it's raining.
What if he's just doing that because
the way he does that, there's a difference. Anyone knows when you're being corrected in love. But she made that example saying he always talks down on her. She doesn't feel heard. He always makes her feel less. It's practical. Or you're being gaslighted, or everything is your fault. It has a way of you don't even believe in yourself anymore. You don't believe you're worth it. You don't believe you deserve anything. You're literally living under the shadows of that person, and no one should be in that space, whether the man or the woman. You're not meant to be in that space. Even when we talk about sexual abuse, partners, it's a reality. A woman came on the show live. She's a survivor. At the time, she was still a victim, but she came on the show complaining about her husband. She was married to him for years, and but when I say he's addicted to sex, but he loves sex so much, and he doesn't care whether she's in the mood or not. He wants to have it, whether she's on her menstrual cycle or not. What he does, he beats her up and rapes her every single time. And it's not as if he does it once in a while. He sleeps with her like 3 times a day, almost every day.
Interesting.
Live on the show, we had that conversation live on the show. She said she was tired, and this lady was like 28 at the time. She was married to him with kids, like 2 kids, and she was complaining how she feels like dying. How he doesn't even care if she's pleasured or not. All he wants to do is just release. He beats her up, put her legs apart, do what he wants to do, and leaves her there 3 times a day, almost every single day, if not every day. And the law doesn't see that as a rape. Because I had the DPO to talk about it on the show, and he said, if you come, you're married. The law doesn't see that as rape. But I do love the fact that organizations and NGOs who are seeing this and fighting for the rights of women, also governmental organizations who are also fighting for the rights of men, can actually see that. I don't know cases of men who are raped in marriage, but I do know of cases of women who are raped in marriage. But those are also violations. They're not right. What is rape? Forceful consent of, if a person is not. And especially when it's now coupled with physical abuse, you beat the person up and have sex with the person if she's not in the mood. Even though the Bible said that we should not deprive our body from our partners. But, if a person is not wanting to have it, give the person time, especially even when the person is having a menstrual cycle.
Okay. So let's talk about the culture of silence. Like, according to statistics, less than 40% of women actually report gender-based violence. What is the whole psychology behind this? People refusing to report. Why is walking away from a toxic relationship very hard?
I believe.
And then the irony is that some don't even see what they are in as a toxic relationship. That's why they don't see the need to report it.
Okay, let's first of all, people who don't really see it is a different problem. They're in denial, or they're also in another level of trauma that they...
Or what if it's just their culture? Because there's some environments that women are just not allowed to have a voice.
Exactly. So that is, if they don't see the reason, then that is not silence in the sense. Silence in this sense is when you know that this is wrong, you're tired, you know that what is done to you is wrong, and you are scared of talking about it. It's a lot, and it's different for different persons. And for people who are raped, you're afraid. Let's talk about it in the real sense. How many people how many cases are reported that justice has been done? How many instances, or are we going to talk about the society, stigmatization? Everybody knows that somehow it's the victim that is being lashed, the victim that is being, stigmatized, it's the victim that is being, judged. Or practical example, what did you wear? What took you there?
There was this case of, Abu Salami, Burna Boy's PA, and he brought this girl to a party just because the guys he wanted to introduce her to big people and all that.
Yeah.
So she goes to this house party with him, and then he takes her to the room, and then the next thing he's trying to, have his way with her, and she refuses, and then he bites her. And then this goes viral, and she complains about it. She even sends screenshots and all that. Yeah. And then people are like, why would you go there?
Why would you go there?
I mean, and then nothing was done. Eventually, everything just died down. People stopped talking about it.
These are the issues. These are reasons why persons don't talk about it. People don't talk about it because what will be done? Nothing will be done. And is your name the whole go? Especially for the ladies, right? For men, they don't want to appear being weak. Their wives are beat. Their wife is just from the domestic violence, whether it's emotional, physically, and they just feel less of a man. How can I be the man in the house? And this is going on. So they just want to hide the shame of being, the victim of such abuse. For women who are married, there is a lot more difficult. When they feel that the success and failure of the marriage depends on the woman. So she doesn't want to be responsible for the failure of the marriage. In Africa, we are one people, we don't believe in divorce. And we don't believe in separation. And somehow we blame the woman. She didn't keep her home, even when the man is responsible for that abuse, for the breakup. So she doesn't want to leave. Another reason is the kids. If I leave, what happens? When a woman is not financially independent, and I'm not saying she's the Lord and God of the home. I mean, she has something to do. She can provide for herself and the kids.
I don't think the woman will be divorced and then the man pays child support. And I don't think that works.
It doesn't work. And it doesn't work. Even though there are ways where a person can push for it, but it's not something that the government will literally demand that this happen. So a woman is left on her own. When she leaves, you left, and the man doesn't really care about. So no one is worried. Okay, if I leave, what happens to my kid? I can't even take care. I don't have anywhere to go, and family will not want to take you in. There are many cases where a woman leaves. She goes home, reports, "Mommy, this man is beating me," and they say, "Marriage, hankuri is patience, right? Marriage is patience. Go back home, do something right. Don't talk to him anyhow," and she's left stranded. She can't leave because she's thinking about her home. And then we have the culture of family, where you have to protect the family image. Don't leave. If you leave now, you're bringing a bad name to the family. Your siblings will not get married because you're from a broken home. So all of that are cases where are being reported to the authorities, and you see the family will come back and say, family matter. The issue of silence is a problem. Like the example I gave you about the boy who reached out, it's a sad one because after being emotionally invested in the case, and I want to help you, the boy doesn't want to come out. He doesn't want, and now working on gender-based violence has made me see things for how it is, that many times we blame organizations, we blame the government for not taking initiative and doing the right thing and fighting for people, but other times there's a culture of silence where they want to reach out. The government is ready to reach out, organizations, but the persons are silent. I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, so how do you think we can actually solve the problem of the culture of silence? And beyond that, are there support systems for these survivors in Nigeria, in the Plateau State, because that's where we are now? And then why do you think people should be more involved in GBV?
Well, are they support systems and support group? I'll say they are, but they're not as loud as they should be. A lot of persons don't know where they are and how they can reach out, and then we don't trust that their issues will remain private. It's just like those AA groups where you know that it's just you and whatever you say remains there. So we don't trust ourselves that I can come here and be vulnerable and my secret is safe and you can help me through the process. And for some, when we talk about therapy, it's cost effective, and these things are happening to so many people, and people who don't have the money to actually take care of themselves or leave the toxic environment, not even think about taking care of their mental health. So we do have social groups, but not as many as we should, and not as accessible as it should. The other question is, what can we do about the culture of silence? I think if we really sensitize each and every one of us to be able to see that the victim is not to be blamed and have empathy, not to, when someone says, okay, I've been abused, don't go on to start asking questions. What were you wearing? First of all, sympathize. Don't even doubt the person or say, just hug. Make the person feel loved. Let the society see that they are the ones who are the victims. And also, if the government will be very loud about the persecutions of the abusers, it will serve as a deterrent and allow people to come out and say, I too was abused, I need justice, I too was abused. But if we feel like, okay, nothing will be done, even if I speak out, why speak out and deal with the shame? True. That is the truth. If I know nothing will be done, they'll just talk around it or ask me to bring a lot of money. You know how it is. The police will say, give me money, transfer for the transport to go and pick him and all that. And if you don't have, if you don't have strong evidence against the person, times where a lady's been raped and she's just angry, frustrated, she just feels like scrubbing her skin. The first thing on her mind is not going to the hospital and opening her legs and taking a test. That's not the first thing on her mind. She just wants to just forget. And just because she had a shower, cried in the shower, scratched her skin and all that, she doesn't have a case because she didn't take it. So it's just so sad. But I believe we can actually, if each quarter plays their part, if the media send a big narrative whereby we play our part in condemning this act and making it safe, creating a safe environment for people to talk about it and get justice for what they have, not to victimize the victim and make it look as if there's their fault, but actually a sense of justice should be done. It will really, really help.
So why should everybody be more involved?
I think everyone should be more involved because somehow, even though we joke about,
it's not my sister, business, it's not my neighbor, it's just,
I've
like
seen
that girl's own, that people were laughing about it. Like that was, like you said, it cried for help, but people were laughing about it.
From experience, I've seen that the world is actually very small. And people who I never thought of meeting, I found myself, like, if someone says you're 3 people away from someone else, like if 3 people will know you, that I know will know you. And somehow, if you feel like it's not your problem, it will become your problem. You don't know who is going to meet your child or your neighbor, and, it's a circle. And even though we joke about, as Nigerians, we're all traumatized in one way or the other, but we are also dealing with one trauma or the other, whether it's sexual trauma, whether it's emotional, financial. We're going through a lot, and if we don't take it as a burden, because we end up like the guys, if you don't really see it as a problem, you get them marrying a lady who has been traumatized, she's been abused and she's still dealing with it, or the girl getting married to a man who has been traumatized, and it's like a circle, and broken people break people.
True.
We will not have a community of we are all broken and no one is doing anything about it. If we don't just use it as a cliche, just chant it, broken people break people, and we don't really see the reason, the need to heal, and how we are all part of the healing process, we'll just keep being people who just talk, laugh. We see jokes about everything. We tweet, we post, and we don't really address these issues. And we end up being victims. So people who we know will end up being victims. And you will say that if your sister is going through a problem, it's your problem as well.
It is.
It's going to bite the entire family because we're family people here.
Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
This
Chelsea, for having
discussion
me.
was really insightful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being here. I'm glad that I was here.
Thank you for being part of today's episode. Would you want to be a part of this? If yes, you can reach us on WhatsApp 081-4999-1910, or you can reach us on mail at theharborinitiative@gmail.com.